We've had a lot of really exciting announcements here at Automation Anywhere over the last couple weeks, and I'm super excited to have the time to be able to sit down with our Chief Technology Officer, Prince Kohli.
Thanks, Micah. Very happy to be here.
So the first thing I want to ask is, of all of the stuff that we've announced recently, what are the most exciting things that you're looking at launching, and how do you see them improving our customer experiences?
Awesome. I love that that's the first question. So there is, the way we are approaching generative AI, everything about our product and our customer and how they interact with this will change. But I will talk about two particular ones which I think will have the most impact. One is the most common. There are two most common set of people who interact with our platform. They are what we call the bot creators, automators, and then the people who are the users of the bots. The automators, their life will change because instead of having to really either follow a user and tell the user to do what it is that they do, or to in some ways program a bot, they can simply tell the platform. They can say, make me a bot that takes data from this email, gets this stuff out, sends it to this particular form in Oracle or Salesforce, and then takes this data from there and then create this dashboard or create this email or create something else and then share it with these people. It is conversational. It makes it very, very accessible. And finally, it also allows you to talk to it in a language that you are most familiar with. The second piece is a lot of the data in enterprise is still based on documents. Whether it is email attachments, whether it be just emails that people send, whether it be something you download, some web page, whatever it may be. And while we have been able to handle structured, semi-structured documents for many, many years, the biggest change with Gen AI is our ability to interact with unstructured documents will suddenly go through the roof. And now you can simply say that in this particular contract, which may be completely unstructured, just find me these things and do this with them. You can do analysis of that, you can do action on that, you can write new documents with that, you can summarize using the right terms very quickly.
Yeah, I like that. And I think straight through processing rates will also increase, right? Even for document types that we've had success with previously.
100%.
A structured or a semi-structured document, if we missed a particular field in the way that we've been extracting data previously, right? We can now use generative AI capabilities as almost like a backstop. Say like, hey, I missed this field.
That's right.
Give me this one. What about Automation Anywhere's architecture makes these kind of rapid innovations that we're talking about really possible?
So many years ago, we took a step where we went completely cloud native, microservices based and container based. Now the reason we did that obviously was to make it a much more modern stack, be able to go to any cloud, be able to auto scale, be able to have high resilience, right, and all those good things. One of the advantages of that, of course, is given the modularity of the platform, we are now able to add, and now for the last few years, we have been able to add new functionality like a package, with a package very, very quickly. And we can do that so quickly that you don't have to wait for a release. We can just release it whenever ready, we push it out, customers can download it and use it, whatever kind it may be. So if you look at OpenAI, when they released ChatGPT, we were the first people to write a package to integrate it natively, and our community was the first one to start using it, for their own use cases that they had in mind.
And I think that modularity also speaks to resiliency of your automations, which is interesting,
100%.
right? Like something can be fast, but is it also resilient? In this case, it is, right? Because not only are you able to push out those new package versions, but if you created a bot 6 months ago, it's going to be based on the same package version that you built it on. So when it deploys, it's going to be indifferent, right? So I really like that concept, and I think the architecture lends itself well to stability. I know customer trust is a huge thing for you, so stability, but also innovation at the same time.
And governance, because in enterprise, governance is so important, right? They should be able to say, what am I using, when am I using it, and when do I move to the next version of it? And you can control all of that. So modularity really allows you to do all of that, as opposed to getting a large monolithic software which you use it as is, and if it fails, everything fails.
I'm curious, kind of shifting focus here, as a CTO, how do you use generative AI to make your own job easier, enhanced, Prince 2.0?
Every joke I tell, I ask GPT to generate it first. So usually, that's the case. But more seriously, I've been playing around with it now almost since the first day, and obviously it has gotten better, a lot better since then. But most of the time I spend today with it is trying to get it to use like a customer would, right? What can it do, and what new emergent capabilities it may have that allows someone to interact with it in a way that is different, unusual, but in a useful way. And we see new things all the time, especially for example for the unstructured documentation part. We were able to really, just by playing with it, we're able to extract information that from documents that customers find very useful. And that is how that was the genesis of how do we integrate it within our platform to extract that data as well.
Yeah. Switching gears a little bit, on Twitter, on TLDR, things like that, you see that every week there are new generative AI capabilities, tools, platforms. There are new libraries available for Java and for Python. There are new JavaScript frameworks. How do you make a determination as a CTO of like, hey, if it was me, I want to build on everything, right? Like, that looks cool, let's integrate it. But then that product dies 3 weeks later and we're in trouble. So how do you make those determinations to say this is where we're going to place our bets?
Yeah, and it's a great question because that's something that I think every R&D team, especially software R&D team, faces pretty much every day. And there are new things, wonderful new things that come out. But like any other investment one makes, one looks at a new set of libraries or a new way of doing things and says, first, is this long-term viable or is it just fun and games? Fun and games is fine. But if you really want to kind of bet your company's engineering force on a new stack, you have to look at, is this a long-term advantage to you and your customers? The advantage can be in ease of programming, lower bug rate, could be ease of troubleshooting, right? There are wonderful languages out there that stop you from shooting yourself in the foot via memory leak, for example. You should use them. And then, so long-term viability, ease of use, ease of migration. You have millions of lines of code. What should you be doing? Should you be taking those and then moving forward? Should you be writing new modules in new framework? And if you're going to do that, how do the frameworks interact? And then does that change the size of your binaries, size of your packages? You have to look at all those things. In general, our engineering force wants to use new things very, very quickly, which I encourage because it lets you learn things as well.
Yeah.
And then, we have an architects forum where we talk about some of these new things, and over there we choose what makes sense to invest further in, and then you go slow and steady.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and there's a lot of considerations. I mean, obviously the newest and shiny thing is always really fun to try out.
That's right.
But there's also considerations for what does this cost me to execute, right?
That's right.
So when I'm a fully cloud native platform, I have to worry about CPU cycles.
Absolutely.
And what is this going to mean for how large my deployments are and things like that. So those are all really interesting considerations.
That's right, and you're right. I mean, as you said, it's a lot of dimensions to that problem, but that's true for engineering, I think. You like hard problem, and you look at it from all sides and say, okay, what makes sense?
Yeah. I want to look forward now. It's 2030. What impact has Automation Anywhere made on the world? And specifically on workers' lives and the future of work?
I want people when they go into the office to be happy about going to the office. I think one of the biggest complaints about enterprise work has been it is repetitive, it is mechanical, it is robotic. And they mean robotic and kind of, it sucks humanity out as opposed to it being fun. I think if by 2030, my fervent and my optimistic hope is people would like to go to work because they have, a Sally or a Harry in their pocket who helps them do the work that they need to do, right?
Yeah.
Who are able to go and say, okay, Harry, you can help me with most of this boring stuff, and you will do it with high quality and on time. And I can spend time improving things, thinking of new ideas, working with my colleagues, with my customers directly. Because that level of human intent and empathy, no one has time for right now.
Yeah.
So I very much hope things will change in that direction.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sitting down and having a conversation. I really enjoy chances like this for us to geek out and talk about our platform and talk about where things are going, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Micah.
Cool. Thanks everyone for joining us. Catch us next time.